Pleasant morning, everyone. I welcome you all to this session. Hope I'm audible and my screen is visible. If it is so, let me know that in the chat. Pleasant morning, guys. If I'm audible, let me know that in the chat. Okay, thank you so much. Okay, Akshat, do you know Vijayalakshmi ma'am? Yes, do you know Miss Vijayalakshmi ma'am? So regarding all those issues okay, which is happening for CAT examinations, you can contact that ma'am. So you faced problems in this exam, like the questions are not internet or anything. If you are facing this login and logout issues, okay, that you can mention. So this type of questions, so questions are you may get the self-prepared questions, that is like okay, the persons have prepared it. So that can enhance your coding skills. So that kind of questions you might have got okay, which is not an internet or anything, so that might be possible. So in that location you have to use your skills to get the answer. So if you have faced any other issues like okay out of
Uh, Excuse me, sir. Like, I'll just come off mute once again. So, sir, the thing is, like, I'll give you an example, sir. Like I'll give you my question, sir. It was a question where we had to find the area of three different shapes. One was a square, rectangle, and circle. It was
okay,
an inheritance question, so we had to take the values as parameters, like first case length and breadth, then width,
oh
then side, and then radius. So
yeah,
the problem was that I calculated the area, everything is fine, but
oh
the values, sir, in the output. So my area calculated value, I was getting 153.93 something, and the
okay,
expected value was 153.80 something. So like the question itself, they've used the pi value wrong, I believe, because otherwise there's no way that discrepancy can come. Like when I
oh
found the difference between the two values, it was 0.07 and all that.
yeah,
So like those kind of things we cannot like I don't know how to fix it because like those
okay,
are I used the math.py value. I directly took the value, then I converted it from double to float. But then I thought maybe the truncation problem is coming. That also was not the problem and all that. So like
okay.
that's what I want
What
to address.
kind of that is data type you have used for that input numbers?
Integer, sir, because
So while coming to decimal points, okay, it is better to use go with float, right? So as
uh,
Mr. Kumar has also mentioned that. So if you're going with integer data type in that case, so you might get error. So for that scenarios, we have this float data type. So float data types gives the exact values. So you might not get
Sir, but the input is integer, sir. Like when you give the shown in the sample input also, the input is an integer value.
okay, the input that they have given, sample input as an integer that they have given directly.
Yes, sir. In the sample input, all values were integers, like length, breadth, side, and
Okay,
radius.
but the output that we are getting as
That is
in
in float,
decimals,
sir.
right?
Yes, sir. Because like
So in
pi
that
value is
case,
a float value, no, sir.
yeah, then in that case you should be going with the float, so that your decimal value might match. So we know that the input value that we are getting, that we are giving us integer, okay, that is a perfect numbers without decimals. But we know there is a pi value which contains already the decimal value. So the output will be an error in case if you're using the same integer data type. So if you're going with the float, then the things match and you'll get the right output.
So the thing is, I converted the integer to float and all before doing the calculation. So like
Okay.
even if we don't do that, like integer means even if you convert to float, the value will just, let's say the radius was 15, right? Integer radius. When you
Yeah.
convert it to float, it'll just be 15.0.
Yeah.
And so when you multiply it with the pi value, you'll still like the decimal value won't change, no, sir, because like the integer, like in the input itself, there are no minor differences in the decimal part. It's a whole number.
Yeah. Now, it might happen that as well, taking into compiler when you are doing operations with one integer and one with a float. So in that case, what happens is like, okay, there might be some garbage values. Okay, that is like it happens in case of any catchy value stored. That is a garbage value. So that might cause a change in those decimal places. So that is why we always say that okay, when you're doing operation with a single data type, you have to go with a single data type operation. That is, if you're doing addition or a subtraction, multiplication operation. In that case, if you're going with the two same data type, okay, it will not throw any kind of error. So if you're using different data types, in that case, it might cause any errors due to this garbage values. So okay, I hope this is a thing that might have happened when you have used this integer data type with the float. Okay,
Uh,
let me check also with the respective person. What about the question? So, from my point of view, this might have happened. So that is what made.
Sir, but like
Okay.
the only thing is like in Java, when we initialize values, there are no garbage data types, right? There are default values, right? So even if you initialize a variable with no value, if it's an integer, it will be default zero, right? And or if it's a float, it will be default zero point
Yeah,
zero, right?
that's what it happens with the. It it will not happen in most of the case because this is an platform that is might be online platform wherein this compiler might have some errors that is not exactly errors. Okay, it might have been worked on this kind of situation, so it might happen. So it is not with all the platforms, it might happen. So I can see Kumar has also mentioned uh, float conversion after using it to work. So actually he is giving a point, that is he initially haven't used that float conversion, but after using it he is saying it worked. So that float conversion is used. So Ajit, don't worry, so you have reached a point that is the test case test cases are nearly equal. So in that scenario, they will verify it and they'll make sure you're getting the appropriate marks for it.
Okay, sir. Thank you,
Okay.
sir.
So if others have faced the same kind of issues, don't worry. Okay, like code evaluation, it is not. We cannot make sure that all the members are using the same set of code and same kind of logic. So in that case, they will be verifying and they will be providing the marks based upon that. So regarding this kind of questions, don't get confused. And few basic things are important, like as Kumar has mentioned, this conversion things are mandatory. So take care of this kind of basic things too. So, and in case if you have faced any issues with the login and logout, in that case, you can contact the respective person that I have mentioned. Okay, I hope there is no other issues. If you have any, you can let me know. Okay, great. So now you have completed your CAT, and by the end of this week, you will be having your assessment. So, the assessment is too much simpler than compared to CAT. So get prepared for it too. By Friday, that is, we have a session on Friday, right? On Friday, you will be having your internal assessment too. So get prepared for it. So before CAT, we were been discussing about this interface. I hope you remember the points regarding that interface. Yes, of course, Harsha. So it is on Friday. On Friday, we have this session, right? D1. So on that day, you'll be having your internal assessment too. So get prepared for it. As you know, the topics are similar to the CAT examination. Okay, we have left out topic an interface. That is a type of interface that we have. Yeah, of course. So internal assessment, it will be always in Teams. So as usual, you have to attend that session. I will be circulating you the Microsoft Teams forms. Okay, upload the solutions for coding questions. Actually, the thing is, we are actually not aware what the question that you have got. So because it is the algorithm is totally jumbling all the questions that they have in the database. So in that case, each student will be getting a different kind of questions. So we are only not aware of what student is getting. So in that case, we cannot see what are the questions a person has got and what are the solution that we have to give. So that is a difficult task, as we don't know what are the question that you have got exactly. Okay, let me check with the coordinator regarding this uh, admin checks. So if I got the permission, I will let you know. Yeah, I can understand who you're mentioning. So I will let you know once if I got permission regarding those things. But until then, you can how the questions will be asked in the test. So now you have faced a lot of questions. So in online platform we have different kind of hacker rank questions, and as well check platforms. So in that case, if you are checking questions in that, you can find a different kind of questions, okay, based upon this a singular topic, so which is the most difficult one. So you can also work on it, and you can make sure that you are getting an idea regarding how to solve this kind of questions. So I will also giving similar kind of questions in the uh, sessions as I mean given in the past sessions. So I will try to make it in the upcoming sessions too. So if you have great interest towards it, you can find it in the online platforms and you can work on it too. Okay, yes, I hope we can move into today's session. So today's session will be having just uh, thing over this nested interface. So we have already seen about this interface and abstract class, all those things, and how what is the main motto of objective or application of this things. So here we are going to see about this nested interface. So this nested interface can be understood by using the nested if-else statements and nested for. So we know about this nested for, nested if, all those statements which is present in C, the basic C's. So similar to that, we have nested interface. So if I take a nested for, okay, within a for loop, if I have one more for loop, that is a nested for. So similar to that, okay, if I have an interface within an interface, that is nested interface, and we have one more scenario for this nested interface. So it is not only that, okay, it has to be within an interface. So we have one more scenario. Okay, then the interface can be within the class also. So if that is the case, then it is also known as nested interface. So to be short, I can mention that as if an interface is declared within the interface or else within the class, then it is a nested interface. So we are using this nested interface because we have to that is when we have similar kind of things, so similar group of related interfaces. So in that case, I can all those I can use this nested interface to group all those a similar kind of interfaces. So we can go the logic in much more easier way, and you can understand the program flow, okay, in a great way, so that if you want to make any upgradation in the code, so in that case it will be helpful. So now when that is welcoming to this implementation. So when I have interface, okay, I will be going with the class that is subclass and implements the interface name. So this is the actual syntax that we have used to call or else to implement this interface. Okay, that is a main class, the main interface that we have. So here, if you have to call this or use this the methods or the functions which is present in the inner interface that is considered, we have an interface which is an outer interface class, and within that I have one more interface. So now this one is called, the first one is called outer interface, and that is by words we can mention the outer interface and the inner interface. So now if I have to use the methods and fields which is present in the inner interface, I should mention this, that is syntax is like, okay, class, that is the class subclass that I'm creating, implements now outer interface dot inner interface. So if it is in case of class, I can use outer class dot inner interface name. So this is the syntax that I have to use. So that is what they have mentioned. So the nested interface must be referred with the outer interface or the outer class. It cannot be accessed directly. So this is the thing. So I will explain that in the case of programming. So now here they have given nested interface must be public. So now we know when we are using interface. So in that case, if I declare anything within the interface, it should be only public. So if I'm using abstract method, so that abstract method has to be public. So similar to that, if I'm creating one more interface within that interface, so in that case, it should be only public. I cannot give any other uh, access modifiers. So this is for only interface. So while coming to class, it is a different thing. So before moving to that class, okay, we can see how to exactly give the syntax for this creation of nested interface using interface and using class. So while creation of interface, we know the interface and interface name is the syntax. And if you're creating one more interface within it, okay, you have to use the same syntax, but only you have to use this nested as a that is nested interface name in place of this interface name. So that is a thing. So there is nothing changes has to be made. And similar to class, we know we will be using class name. So that is the actual syntax. So in that, if you're using the interface word instead of a class, so it ensures that you're using the interface within this class created. So these are the syntax. So now here we have a kind of a program where it explains about interface within an interface. So we can see that I have created an interface showable, and within that interface showable, I have created one more interface, that is nested interface, that is interface message. So now this message is the nested interface name. So message, okay, in which each I have abstract method. So only in interface you can use only a abstract method, so you cannot use any kind of methods. That is the method should not have any body for it. So it can be implemented in child class, and we can give the body for it. So I have, for the interface showable, I have this abstract method that is void show, and for the nested interface that I have created as message, okay, for that I have this abstract method that is void message. So now here we are implementing this nested interface. So in that case, I'm creating this subclass that is nested interface one, which implements. So here comes the change. So when I have to implement the inner interface or the nested interface, in that case, I have to use first the outer interface that I have and dot inner interface. So this outer interface is showable. So showable is given here dot message. So message is the nested interface that I have created. So this is the syntax change that you have to use while coming to this implementation part. So this is the only area that you have to focus, because you might make some mistakes. So I cannot directly use implements message. So if I use class test interface one implements message, in that case the compiler will throw the error. So it we know already that this inner interface or the nested interface cannot be directly accessed. So access is not possible. So we have to use the outer interface first, that is showable dot inner interface. So this you have to take care. And we know, okay, we have already created the abstract method, and for that abstract method now I'm giving the fields in this subclass. So void message is the abstract method that we have, and for that, okay, we can you also use that at override symbol, that is overriding the method that we have. So that is not mandatory. So just we can go with a public void message, and in that I'm giving this SOP statement, that is hello nested interface. So now coming to the main object creation, so message, okay, now you have to also focus upon this reference uh, class that you're using. So in the earlier, you will be using only the class name or that you have created. So here you have to use the both, that is showable dot message. So in that case, you have to use this, okay, while coming to nested interface, and the reference you can go with the child class that you have created. So showable dot message, and the message is the object that I have created using this reference of a test nested interface one. So by using the object created, that I'm calling this method. So message. So now I will be getting the output as hello nested interface. So now thing is, you have to focus upon what interface that you have used and how it should be implemented. And while coming to object creation, what should be the reference point you have to use. So these are the three locations that you'll get changed from the other methods. So when coming to nested interface, you have to use this out. Okay, and we already know how we declare the program code and how the compiler will take a turn. So for all these interface, it will be public, and if you are creating any kind of method within the interface, it will be method input. So this is the compiler views. Okay. Next thing is the nested interface, which is declared within the class. So we know the class creation, that is class A, that is class and class name. So in that, I can go with any kind of fields and functions that I can give. I can give any kind of methods. Okay, but I'm creating now interface. So creating interface within the interface. So within that, I'm giving this inner interface, that is message. And while it is an interface, we should go with only abstract methods. So void message is given, and rest things are same as that of the previous one. So implements outer interface dot inner interface name, and while coming to object creation too, you have to focus upon this uh, outer interface dot inner interface, and then object creation, and with the reference to the child class that I have created. So here the same output that we'll be getting as hello nested interface. Okay, Miss Ananya. Okay, can you do me a favor? That is, can you send this in the personal chat? Okay. Because while the chats come in, this will be moving up. So it is difficult to find this exact pic. So you can send that in the private chat so that it will be visible in the front. I can make use of it. So this is the actual difference. So here they have given some like a overview of what we have seen. So if it is inside the interface, then we can go with interface outer and interface inner. And when there is any kind of things that we are using within the interface, it should be always public, and we cannot give any other access modifiers. But while coming to class, we can go with all the 4 access modifiers. So in that case, okay, we can go with any kind of modifiers that we have. So that is a thing that I have mentioned here. Okay, let's move on to a program that we have. So we have 2 example programs. Just if you have understood what I have mentioned about this nested interface, you can let me know what is the output for this program. So it is simple. Just for understanding of what is nested interface, I have given a basic idea about it, and by using that basic thing, I have given a program, so that everyone can understand. So that is the main motto. So if you have understood that, let me know what is the answer for this. Okay, Mr. Kumar.
So,
Yes, Mr.
how is abstract class is different from interface? Like we have all these feature in abstract class also, right?
Yeah. So we already know that. Okay, well, coming to abstract class, we can use the normal methods too. So in case of, okay, partial abstraction, so we need some classes that has to be inherited by the other class. So some methods or function has to be inherited to the other class. In that case, I can go with the abstract class. So wherein I will be having few normal classes, so normal methods as well abstract methods. So I can use both the normal method as well as abstract method. So in case if I have to inherit the properties of the normal method, okay, that I can use it in the child class. But while coming to exact interface would be having only abstract methods. So here it can be only overridden. The method that has provided in the interface should be overridden, and then we can give the values for it. So now the difference is when you need any kind of method, okay, which has to be inherited to the other class. In that case, you can go with abstract class. So that is yeah, abstract class. When you don't want any kind such of method, that is like, okay, you don't want any method to be inherited by the other classes. Okay, in that case, you can only give the method name, that is abstract methods, that is interface. So you can just override and you can give values for it. So for this case, you have to go with interface. That is like partial abstraction and complete abstraction. So you can remember those words, and based upon the application that you need, you can go with any kind of things that you needed.
So can we say that interface is subset of abstraction?
Interfaces,
Subset of abstraction, right?
yeah, of course. Okay, from the interface only, we are creating this abstract and uh, interface.
So
Hello, can you hear me?
yes, sir. So I want
Yeah.
to ask if the override that statement is not necessary, then why we have that in the first place, sir?
Okay, now we know there will be a warnings, right? So even though if you give the right code, okay, we know the warnings will be there. Have you seen such warnings in the code?
Yes, sir.
So you will get the
Yes, sir.
output, but still you will get the warnings. Okay, it is not error, just a warning, right? So you might have seen that. So in case of that, okay, in few times you will be getting warning for this method overriding things. So to avoid those warnings, we can use this at override. So that is one of the feature that this at override uses. And one of the other thing that we can say it is like, okay, this informs or the compiler which that has, okay, that we have to override this particular element from the superclass. So this will improve the efficiency of the code too. So now I'm creating consider thousands and thousands of lines of code. In that case, when it is compiling, so when this particular at override method is given, so the compiler will immediately know that it has to be overridden from the superclass, so it will directly move to the superclass it has. So in that case, it improves the efficiency of the code. So this at override is can be used to improve the efficiency as well. It take out the warning that we get. So these are the features that we can use as annotation. So these are called program annotations. So we have different kind of annotations to do this. Are you understanding, Mr. Kumar?
Yes, sir. So I think so. It kind of create a thread right to the superclass for reference.
Yeah, it is like exactly not a thread. The indirect way we can say that it makes sure the compiler is aware of what it has to do in the immediate next.
Okay, sir.
Okay, thank you for your response, Mr. Kumar. Okay, we have one more program on it. So with this, we can complete. I couldn't see any other responses. So fine. Yes, of course, as Kumar has mentioned, that is the output for it. And here I have created a code, so which has class, and in it we have created this interface. So class, outer class, and the interface, that is my interface. So here we have given this abstract method that is void print. So object creation has been done. So now for this, we'll be getting the output as a print method out interface 20, print method out interface 20. Okay, guys, let's wind up here. So we can see over more different topic in the next session. So if you have any queries, you can let me know. If not, give me a sec. I'll create the attendance form this session. Okay, as pollers in your chat, you can mention your presence in the poll. Okay, I can see most of you are facing issues with the poll, that is poll is giving some error response. So we can mention your register number in the chat so that I can verify it and make sure that you're getting that in the session. So there is a error with the poll. So we can mention your register number in the chat. I will take care of your attendance. So if you have mentioned your register number, you can leave. Thank you so much for coming. Have a great day.
Thank you, sir.
You're welcome, Mr.